Did you see that shit? MMA podcast. Hosted by mixed martial arts journalist Mike Strauss, a.k.a. Strauss.21, and Chicago's number one underground comedian, Apollo Taj Mahal.
Thank you for listening. I'm Mike Strauss, a.k.a. Strauss21, and this is
Apollo Taj Mahal.
We are the guys from the Did You See That Shit Mixed Martial Arts podcast. We know you're going to like the interview, so be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on all the social media platforms, as well as the Missing Time Productions YouTube channel. And don't forget to go to didyousee.shit.com for a complete rundown of all of our content. Right, Apollo?
Yeah.
I want to welcome Anthony Smith to the show. He is a longtime UFC fighter, 28-13, and he's got a fight coming up in Chicago here, UFC 225. What's going on, man?
Not much, man. Just getting done training.
This is the first time I've had the pleasure to speak with you, so I do appreciate you doing this. You're coming up here to Chicago, UFC 225. Man, have you ever been to Chicago?
I have. My manager's actually from Chicago, and I actually recently just competed in the IBJJF tournament there just a couple months ago, so I was just there.
Your fighting style, man, is something that the fans here are going to really appreciate, man. You bring it every time you step into there. You're going up to 205 for this Rashad Evans fight, huh?
I am. And I think, and as far as our plan right now, 205 is going to be my permanent home.
I mean, obviously, you probably went back and forth, agonizing over if that was where you were going to go or not, or stay at 185. What ultimately led to the decisions to go up to light heavyweight? Because I agree with it, and I think that's going to be a better place for you.
Just my last three weight cuts, they were awful, man. My body's just not reacting the way that it used to when I was a little bit younger. And I'm just getting heavier and heavier in between fights, and a lot of that has to do with the stress that I'm putting on my body, getting all the way down to 185. I'm a pretty big guy, and 185 pounds is really small for me. So I think that part of the problem with staying at 185 for so long was I was on a winning streak, and it's really hard to leave a division when you're doing well. And, you're supposed to keep winning fights and then just decide that you're going to start all over again in a new division. That's just a really tough decision to make. So I told myself that I was going to ride that shit until the wheels fell off, and my last weight cut was one of the worst experiences I've ever been through in my whole life. And I was starting to feel really nervous for my own safety, but I'm not making weight wasn't an option. So, and then I lost the fight. And I think that part of that has a lot to do with my weight cut.
Let me ask you, man. I mean, guys like you, guys that say, missing weight, that's not even an option, and, you put yourself in extreme physical peril to make weight, you did, and your performance might have sacrificed for it. Well, what do you feel when you see, like, someone like Mackenzie Dern who misses weight by 7-8 pounds, and it's just so disrespectful, and you got guys like you who damn near die trying to make it? I mean, how does it make you feel?
Man, it pisses me off. It has nothing to do with, I mean, none of my weight cuts go well. Everyone always wants to say, oh, well, this happened, and then that happened, and it just didn't go well. Nothing ever goes well. There's no fucking plan for it. It just doesn't work like that. So when I hear these people talking about, all their excuses and all the BS reasons, it really pisses me off. Like, if the rest of us got to make it, so do you. And I think by, people that have missed weight in the UFC that have fought have gone 6-0. There's a reason for that. Had I stopped 5 pounds away, I think the fight would have been totally different.
Yeah, it's I forget what the stat is, but you're right. It's something ridiculous. It's the people that don't make weight and the fight still goes on. They something like 95% of the time they win. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely an advantage, even if it's unintentional. It's still an advantage. So something needs to be done about that. You have some of the coolest tattoos, man, that I've seen. I'm a big admirer of artwork. I have a half sleeve on my right arm. I'm working on getting it finished currently. But, man, you have some really nice work. I especially like the tattoos on your knuckles there.
Oh, yeah, man. That's my fiance actually came up with that. I've been trying to figure out something to put on my knuckles, and she was trying to help me figure out something that kind of speaks to me a little bit, and fear none. I mean, that's Anthony Smith in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's very cool. You got so much work. Is it all one artist or many artists?
There's a couple different ones there. The majority, all of my sleeve is one person. My whole back piece is one person. So I mean, I try not to mix in too many people, on the same piece. Obviously, that's definitely, you want to avoid that as much as you can. But there's a handful of different artists on there.
Very nice. When you're up here for a 225, I'll have to look at it more closely. I'm a huge admirer. As I said, I know what you're saying because my whole half sleeve is done by the same guy. So you've been around since 2011 in Strikeforce. I remember watching you compete. A lot of guys, though, they don't know who Anthony Smith is, but I have a feeling after you take care of business against Rashad Evans, I have a feeling more people are going to know who Anthony Smith is. What does this fight mean to you? I mean, he's such a big name.
I really appreciate the name. I mean, that's really cool. And I think it's really cool to fight a former champion. I think that Rashad Evans is a legend in this game. I think he's a pioneer of modern MMA. And I think that it's a good challenge. I think that a lot of people aren't giving Rashad enough credit, man. I mean, if you look at his last 4 fights or whatever it is, I mean, he's got losses, but a couple of those are split decisions. I think there's one knockout. I mean, he's in the last couple of fights he's had. He's been in the fights. Those are close losses, and they're the tough dudes. I mean, Dan Kelly isn't no slouch, and neither is Sam Alvey. So I think that people are writing him off, and I'm not one of those people. So this fight means a lot to me. This is coming out, and hopefully I'm going to be able to show what I'm really capable of. I truly believe that you guys have only seen me at 60 or 70%. And I mean that as far as that's how hard I'm trying. That's just the output that I'm able to give, with the weight cuts. And then even after the fight, I sit there and I'm so angry at myself because I know that I have so much more that people have no idea about. Everyone in the gym sees it. My coaches see it. And if we can just bring that person from the gym into the fight, man, it's going to be a celebration for everybody.
Lionhart, how did that come about?
You ever seen the movie?
Oh, yeah, of course. Is that was just that easy?
Yeah, when I was an amateur,
okay,
I had a lot of amateur fights, and there was this announcer that was around locally that announced a lot of my fights. And he's, back then I kind of had the reputation of, you're gonna have to kill me to get me out of there, and I wasn't very good back then. So I would kind of take beatings in my fights, and then kind of come back at the end with a slick submission or a knockout. I mean, a little bit mirroring my last few fights in the UFC. I just don't quit. I just keep coming, and no matter how ugly it is, I do what I got to do to get the win. And that's kind of how Van Damme was in that movie. So he called me Lionheart one time, and it just stuck.
I love it. Yeah, that what comes to mind, man, is your Fight Night 116 fight against Hector Lombard, where you KO'd him in the 3rd round. To me, that was one of your finest moments. Would you agree?
I think so. I think I definitely showed my ability to adapt a little bit. Hector came out much differently than we expected him to. I think he even evolved a little bit leading up into that fight. I think he got a little bit better, and he showed a wrinkle that we weren't expecting, and maybe possibly a hole in my game at the time. As far as the leg kick stuff go, that really kind of changed the whole pace of what I was planning on doing. But how many people stand in front of Hector Lombard for 3 rounds? You know what I mean? There's not too many people that do that. And again, I think that just speaks to me who I am as a person. I just don't give a shit. I'm down and I'm ready to go. And I think that me weathering that storm and then putting him away like I said that I would really showed a lot.
Yeah, there's no doubt, man. That Hector Lombard fight was super impressive. How is training, man? Where are you spending most of your time nowadays?
For about the last year and a half, I've been at Factory X in Denver.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just talked to Brandon Royval.
Oh, yeah. Brandon's a gangster, man. I like that kid.
Yeah, he had a great fight at LFA 39 a couple of weekends ago.
Yeah, I watched it. I still live in Omaha, so I go back home every single weekend, man. I try to spend as much time with my family as I can. My kids and my fiance. The schedule's a little bit hectic, but I'm home Friday night and I'm back in the gym in Denver Monday morning.
Very cool, man. Yeah, no, I feel you, man. The older it gets, it's more about family and kids. And, I don't know about you, but, I was told that growing up, and it just, you never know. And until you really appreciate it, then you really can understand it. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely, man. I don't think I'd be able to do this if it wasn't for them, and especially if I wasn't in a position where I could go back and forth, I'm not sure that I would stay here this long,
Oh, yeah.
So I do about 6 to 8 weeks here in Denver, for each fight, and then I do about 10 days a month in between fights just to stay sharp. But if I wasn't in a position to be able to go back and forth every single weekend, it would be too hard. I just don't do very well when I'm not with my family, and my mindset falls apart, and sometimes this shit just doesn't become worth it. As I get older, the time with my kids and my fiance, it becomes more and more important every single day, and without that, I just don't know if I'd be able to do it.
I feel you, man. I'm right there. I'm 100% right there. I'm a little older than you, a lot older than you. I'm 37, but man, you're 29, right?
Yeah.
And to have that mindset at 29, man, and to be as tough as you are, this is going to be fun to watch you fight because I think it's your time. So I appreciate you taking this time and speaking with me, man. On social media, you're at Lionhart. You're at Lionhart Smith, and then on Instagram, you're at Anthony Smith, correct?
Yeah, Instagram, I'm Anthony Smith UFC, and Twitter, it's at Lionhart.
All right, the floor is yours, man. If you'd like to shout out your sponsors, anything you'd like, bro.
I just like to thank all my fans of sending me my meals here in Denver, keeping me lean and my body working right. Of course, Factor X, my coach is Mark Montoya. That dude is, someday he's going to be on the ballot with the rest of those people, for the MMA awards. The guy's a genius, man. And just you guys, man. When it comes down to it, the media is who helps us get our name out there, So I appreciate you reaching out.
Absolutely, man. Anytime. I can't wait till you get here in Chicago, and best of luck to you at UFC 225, man.
Thanks a lot, man. Let's make sure we hook up.
For sure, definitely. Appreciate it, Anthony.
Take care.